If I had told you at the beginning of this year that we would have been facing a pandemic by the name of COVID-19 that was going to turn this world upside down, you would have never believed it. The COVID Conquerors series on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. In this climate of fear, confusion, and suppression, I saw the need to create the COVID Conquerors podcast series. COVID Conquerors features phenomenal people who are, despite their challenges, thriving personally or in service to their community. COVID Conquerors airs live on Facebook and YouTube every other Thursday at 9 p.m. GMT, that's UK time, on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. This podcast aims to encourage, inspire, and empower you, to reassure you that in this time of uncertainty, should you look, you will see that there are great opportunities for you to thrive in aspects of your life, regardless to whom or what. It's time to start the live podcast where you'll meet this week's phenomenal guest. Let the countdown begin. Welcome to the Aisha Muhammad podcast to COVID Conquerors. Now, this is the series that basically wants to highlight the good works of people that are working to serve regardless of this pandemic. And, you know, what happens is that people end up being edified, they end up being inspired, motivated, and given hope. This is some of the feedback that I've been blessed to receive. So you're in the right place at the right time. I'm going to ask you to share out this broadcast. And if you're wondering, who is this woman that I'm looking at? Well, my name is Aisha Muhammad and I'm a self-love coach and I'm based in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. And I'm really happy to be sharing space and time with you this evening. So welcome, family. I have you all coming in. Greetings and thank you so much for joining. I love to have your company and to see the conversation flowing in the comments. It's absolutely awesome and a pleasure. Now, you may have seen the flyer out on social media in regards to my phenomenal guest that is joining us this evening and afternoon in some places. Listen, I first met this wonderful woman at a community event, and what struck me about her is the fact that my son fell in love with her watch. And she took her watch off and allowed him to play with it, and she didn't have a care in the world. And as the mum, I'm like, I hope the boy doesn't break her watch. But she really didn't care, because you know how our children are just very curious and they like to explore. But what touched me with that moment was just the goodness and the freeness of her spirit. So I'm not going to delay any further to introduce to you our phenomenal guest, Lorna Phillip, and she is a doula here in Birmingham, one of the most sought after, and the job that she does is so important and very vital to our community. And as we discuss, we're going to go into why that is. So welcome to COVID Conquerors on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. Lorna, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking me on, Aisha. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm really well, thank you. This is the first time I've been on this whole StreamYard, Facebook, YouTube thing. So it's a bit kind of like, not sure what I'm doing here, but thank you for inviting me on. I'm really happy to be here.
That's really excellent. So can you just let us know more about you? Who is Lorna Phillip, and, you know, what does she do? Why does she do it?
Sure, Lorna Phillip, otherwise known as Birmingham Doula. And so I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a grandma to three beautiful boys, and I'm a doula. So I've had a long career of supporting families over the Midlands and in London, all around the place, as a nursery nurse way back in the 80s. That's what I trained in. And more recently, I've worked in a Sure Start program. I think, do you know about Sure Start, supporting families with children from 0 to 5?
Mhm.
And when I worked in the Sure Start program, what I noticed, Aisha, was that the moms that would come in and would
Mhm.
attend my baby massage group would talk about their births week after week after week. Here I am, the instructor, dying to get this, massage class started, and you've got the moms. Oh, when I had my baby, this happened. When I had my baby, I didn't feel very supported. I didn't feel
Mhm.
like I had a very satisfying experience. And that's back 2005 when I first heard about doulas and what they do and how they support families during pregnancy and labour and those first few tricky weeks with a newborn baby. So I
Mhm.
thought, you know what? I'm going to train to be a doula because these families need supporting. How can we have these women coming back week after week saying how they were disappointed and felt unsupported in their births and their labours? So a
Mhm.
few years later, I trained to become a doula. And what a doula is it's actually a lay person. So way back when we had like village life, you'd have the woman in the village who would come
Mhm.
round to attend to the labouring person there. So
Yep.
that's really kind of what a doula is. I'm not a clinician, so I'm not a midwife, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor. I can't carry out any examinations and tests and all that kind of stuff. What
Mhm.
doulas do is they accompany you and they journey with you during that
Mhm.
massive transition from pregnancy to parenthood.
Right.
So we have lots of knowledge about birth again, but we're not clinicians, but we have lots of knowledge about birth. We know a lot about how to keep you comfortable during
Mhm.
labor. How can you be comfortable when it's so painful? But actually, yeah, you can be made very comfortable even without the
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so we keep you comfortable during labor. We form that really special relationship with you, your partner, your family. So
Mhm.
when you're having a baby here in the UK, you may see like lots of different midwives during your antenatal sessions and your
Mhm.
your appointments. But with a doula, once you've booked your doula, that's your companion who's going to kind of journey with you all the way through to having your baby. And it's that special relationship that makes a big difference to birth. And even
Mhm.
research has shown that having a doula supporting you during your labor, you're less
Mhm.
likely to have interventions such as C-sections or forceps deliveries, um, quicker labors, more comfortable labors. Parents
Mhm.
report more satisfaction with their birth experience, less postnatal depression, better breastfeeding rates. I mean, it's who wouldn't really? Who wouldn't want to do let us
Mhm.
support them during birth?
Wow. So it's like having that trusted friend that you can rely on, that's there to be your cheerleader, and just help you through this process that, especially for those who are having their first trials, it's the unknown, as a mom, my God, I remember the first time. There's so many things that other mums don't really share. I found, that you're going to experience this, you're going to experience that. So when you did, you was like, wow. But I guess having a doula can kind of, in a way, because every experience is different, but kind of prep you for knowing what to expect, which
Yeah,
can,
so
lessen anxiety. Yeah.
absolutely. And again, a big part of the role is antenatal preparation. So we do a kind of one-to-one antenatal course with the couple or with the mum, so that they're fully prepared for labour. There's no surprises. And that's the thing. If you're kind of like not knowing what's going to happen in your body, you don't know how birth works, then you're
Mhm.
going to be tense. The more tense you are, the more intense
Mhm.
you're going to feel all of those sensations. So it makes sense to really fully inform people about what's happening in the body and how,
Mhm.
as a team between, the person giving birth, the partner, the midwife or consultant, and the doula, how as a team we can help to kind of keep things nice and relaxed and calm.
Excellent, excellent. That service you provide is well needed, well needed. So we have this statistic here that I put out and around. Oh, we have a comment here. Thank you for explaining. I'm not the sharpest knife in the kitchen, so thank you for educating the slow brother. There you go, Michael Bill. Excellent. That's great. And Viola X, my mom, she says, thank you. Awesome. And Sister Latasha, welcome. She says that her best friend is having a baby and has been interviewing doulas. So this is something, you know, that is catching on quite a bit in our community from the sounds of things. And Sister Latasha says that it sounds like rewarding work.
Yeah, we're more aware for sure. And actually, most of my clients have been Black and brown women. People assume, again, there's big assumptions about who hires doulas. And people think it's just white middle class women or families that have lots of money that hire doulas. Let me tell you, that's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I have all kinds of families hire me. And I said most of my clients over these 9 years of being a doula have been Black and brown families. So, yeah.
It's good seeing us get back to our traditional way of doing things in this modern time, because if something works, then it works. And as we're going to discuss, you know, there's some methods that don't work, you know, because we have this statistic, which is that Black women in the UK are being found to be 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy, childbirth, and post-birth than white women. So this is extremely worrying. You know, it's an extremely worrying situation. And what can we as individuals and also collectively as a community do about it?
Yeah.
What do you think, Lorna?
Oh gosh, I have so much to say on this. Okay, so what we can do is, first of all, we can make sure that we are, first of all, attending birth education, but birth education that relates to us as Black people. Okay, because it is different for us in the system. I'm not going to lie, it is different from us, for us. I've been with white clients, I've been with Black clients, I've been with Asian clients, and I see how we are treated differently in the system. So making sure that you have somebody, whether it be a friend, a doula, a family member, your partner, who can advocate for you and can help to keep you safe within the system is really important. And what I mean by that is that the partner has, you know, whether it's a partner or a loved one, like a mom or mother-in-law, whoever is that kind of loved one for that woman giving birth, it's important that they have knowledge about the system and about birth. It's important that they have knowledge about the role that they can play within birth, and they do have a really important role to play. So as a doula, I can never replace a partner or a mum. Yeah, I'm part of the team, because I was saying earlier on to somebody that a partner and a mom, they know you the best. They know you more than I know you. I know bits about you as my kind of client. I love my clients, but it's not the same love that a partner or a mom can give, a supportive mom can give. So it's important that those who are going to be in the birth room with you know something about birth, know what your wishes are. So if you've made a birth plan, and it is worth making a birth plan, that they know about it, they know the importance behind why you've chosen certain things, for example, so that if your caregivers aren't listening to you or aren't really paying attention to your birth plan, then your loved one can speak up and say, oh, by the way, don't forget, this is what she wanted. Okay.
Right.
Hire a doula. I mean, I would say that, wouldn't I? You know, but I would say, actually, if you can, and I know not everybody can, but I would say, don't go splashing out on the baby shower. You know, the big old balloon arches, the baby shower. I'm not saying that it's wrong. Everyone loves to celebrate, you know, couples and moms having babies. It's wonderful. But if it was a toss up between having the big fancy baby shower with the big fancy pushchair with the matching handbag and the matching hat, Against a doula, do you know what? I think I'll probably go with the doula. The doula is a gift that keeps giving because you are more likely to have a more positive birth experience. There's no promises because birth can be unpredictable, but you're more likely to have a more positive birth experience with a doula supporting you. And you know those fancy things that you've bought for the baby that the baby doesn't care about? They'll be on eBay in a few months. You'll stop using them. Yeah.
That's right.
Your experience is important. Your birth experience is important. You never forget your birth experience, do you?
No. You don't. I don't know if there's anyone else that could confirm that, but you don't. No. It's beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an act of self-love to really think things through and be wise in the decisions that we make. If you can have your cake and eat it too, why not? But if that's not your situation, you might want to, think about that gift that keeps on giving. It's nothing like being supported through that whole process. It's
Absolutely.
very
And your friends
valuable.
and family can contribute, and again, so, as doulas, we have payment plans. Some of us do gift vouchers. So, there's colleagues and friends and family that buy you like 10,000 baby grows that you're never going to get through. Maybe you could say, well, buy a doula gift voucher, maybe contribute towards the cost of a doula.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So we have a question, and this question ties in with my next question. Sister Latasha, you must be reading my mind. Great minds think alike. It is, how has the pandemic affected Black expectant and postnatal women and their families during the pandemic? So Sister Latasha is saying, are you finding it more difficult to do your job during the pandemic? I don't know if you can bunch all that together and answer. But yeah, we're interested to know.
I'm like a sieve, so I'll answer Latasha's question. So finding it more difficult, in a sense, yes, because with the hospitals, in the pandemic, they have a one birth partner policy. Okay. And even now, a lot of the hospital trusts are still continuing with the one birth partner policy, which means that it forces that woman to either choose her doula or choose a partner, for example, which is a really hard choice to make, isn't it? And so for those who do choose that, and most are going to choose that now, I mean, you don't want your partner to miss out on your birth experience. So we've been offering things like virtual support. So in the pandemic, if they're birthing in hospital, I would go out to them in early labor. So I go on call at about 38 weeks. And any time of day or night, I get the call to say, yeah, okay, I think I'm in labor, normally nighttime. And I go out to the home and I will just labor with them together. So I will use things like massage techniques, rub down that back, keep them comfortable. I have a TENS machine that I put on for relieving, those kind of strong sensations, and help to keep things calm. And then together we decide, okay, we think now that you're in active labor, you are in good proper labor now. So I'll then send them off to hospital. And then I'll go home and I'm available by telephone or by video call if they should need me. But honestly, because they're so well prepared, they don't need me. They've got it. And then on the other hand, a lot of families, a lot of parents have chosen home birth during this pandemic. I'd like, please choose a home birth. And so during a home birth, then I can be there for the whole lot. So again, in early labor, I go out, keep things nice and calm and comfortable. And then together we decide when to call the home birth midwives, and then they come out and join us. And I stay for the whole process until baby's born. So that's how things have changed. What was the second question? I've forgotten already.
Okay, I think that was Sister Latasha's part. I wanted to know how the pandemic has affected our Black expectant and postnatal women and their families. It's like an added stress, isn't it? How does that affect them?
It's been tough. I can't even imagine it. Even though I see it for myself, but I can't imagine being the family going through that, being pregnant. So first of all, being pregnant in a pandemic, it takes away so much. So imagine now that normally, in non-pandemic times, you're celebrated, your colleagues at work are like, how you doing? How's the pregnancy going? And if you've been furloughed at home, you get none of that. Yeah.
Mm.
And when all the shops
Yeah.
were closed, all the cafes were closed, there's no going around the shops with your bestie or your partner or your mum looking at baby stuff or buying baby stuff. There's no meeting your girlfriends for coffee, when you're on maternity leave. You're just literally stuck indoors. And then, of course,
Mm.
with Black and brown women being more likely to catch COVID and be affected by COVID, it's double the stress. Yeah, so
Mm.
there's a lot of isolation, a lot of having to stay indoors. And I'm guessing a lot of depression, to be honest, because who wants to stay indoors and not see people? Well, apart from me, because I quite like it. But
You're not alone.
but who really wants to stay indoors when you just want to be out and about and browsing the
Mhm.
shops and all that stuff? And it was hard. And again,
Mm.
because a lot of my families, being Black and brown families, who have family abroad, so they'd had plans for mum or mum-in-law to come over to
Yeah.
help during the labour and to help maybe with the other kids. And of course, they
Mm.
couldn't fly over. So that for my postnatal families was really tough. Not having access to your mom or your aunt that had promised to come over to look after you in your
Mm.
postnatal period is really
Mhm.
tough.
Wow. So I have a as you're going through that, it's very graphic, I'm just picturing it and I'm feeling it at the same time, very tough, very tough, wow. So do you keep relationships with the mother and children after birth?
Yeah, I do actually. So
No,
it
no.
depends. I take the lead from them. So there's a few that I haven't. So I take the lead from them. But what I do like is that I get updates. I get lots of photo. If you see my WhatsApp and my photo gallery,
Mhm.
I've got so many pictures of all these kids at different stages. So I've
Mhm.
got some now who are at school, which is lovely. So you get the whole kind of school uniform picture. And I get messages from the kids as well saying, "Oh, hi, my doula." They call me my doula. And
Mhm.
babies. So yeah, I can't kind of meet up with them all because I'd be forever like drinking tea and eating cake, which would be quite nice, but not good for you. But I can certainly via like WhatsApp and messages and birthdays and things. I get these updates, which is really nice to see the
Mm.
families really flourishing.
That's excellent. Okay, so we have some more comments. Let me read them. Okay, so what's the name of the syndrome that women suffer from after birth? It's a mental disorder. Do you as a doula help with that? I think the proper term is postnatal depression
Yeah,
with the pandemic and etc.
psychosis as well. Yeah. So doulas again. So we're lay people. We're not psychologists, but certainly, for those of us who are experienced, kind of can pick up on the
Mm-hmm.
signs. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we pick up on the signs, we know who to signpost that family to. So we're not there. We can't be counselors or unless we are already trained in that profession. But we
Mm-hmm.
know, so a large part of our work is actually picking up on issues that may occur either in pregnancy or in the postnatal period and signposting with the family's agreement, signposting onto the person that can best help.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's important. It
It
really
is.
is. Okay, that's the truth. Mm-hmm. Okay. So another question, which is, how can we as men be part of the process without getting in the way of the doula? Maybe in a home birth situation. Yeah.
You never get in the way. I promise you now, in the whole 9 years of being a doula, there's not been one father or partner that's got in my way. As I said,
Mhm.
there's things that the partner can offer that a doula can't
Mhm.
offer. Okay. So
Mhm.
whilst I can hug up the woman, I can rub her down, those special hugs and kisses that a partner can give is a
Mhm.
very different thing. So honestly, there's no getting in the way of the doula whatsoever. We are there as doulas, we're there for both of you, actually. It's not just for the person giving birth, we're there for both of you. So you do your thing. And I often encourage my families to get their loving on, to get the labour, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I show you talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
So get
I
get
know.
smoochy,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
yeah, I'll leave the room. I don't mind leaving the room. Get your loving on to get things going a bit. So you don't get in the way
Mm.
at all.
Excellent. Thank you. So I got another question before we go to the break, which is, are you able to give some ideas as to why so many babies are stillborn, I think is what's meant
Mm,
stillbirth.
mm.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a very, very sad thing when a baby is born. I call it born sleeping, stillbirth,
Mm-hmm.
and loss at any stage is really sad. It can be for lots of different reasons. It could be something to do with the placenta or the cord. There's so many reasons why. There's some research to say that babies who are quite small in the uterus are not really gaining an awful lot of size and weight as the pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
progresses. Can be a bit of a red flag that the mom is at risk of stillbirth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are lots of different reasons. Lots of different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can appreciate that for real. Okay, wonderful. Well, we're going to now go to the break. And whilst we're there, please invite and share for part two, because we're going to have somebody come on to tell us about this wonderful service, this group that Sister Lorna has created. Okay, it's called the Black Mamas Birth Village. So we're going to find out more about that. So stay tuned as we go for this quick break, and I will see you on the other side.
It's great you're enjoying the show. Are you a COVID conqueror? Are you thriving personally or by serving your community during this pandemic? If this is you and you want to inspire others by sharing your story on the COVID Conqueror series, apply now. Send an email to aishapodcast@yahoo.com. Oh, and remember to share this podcast with those you know it will help. Now, back to the interview.
And welcome back to the Aisha Mohammed podcast, the COVID Conquerors series. It is great to have you here. We've been having a wonderful conversation with Lorna here, and she is Birmingham's one of the most sought after doulas here. And, we've just been chopping it off about the job that she does and the things that, our sisters go through when it comes to pregnancy, and this terrible statistic that is Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy, childbirth and post-birth than white women. We're more likely to die, which is just terrible. We don't want that. It takes a village to raise a child, and if the mums are dying or the mum and the babies are dying, we've got a hell of a problem on our hands. But there is the brighter side of things, which is that there are solutions. And in hearing what you've been sharing with us, Lorna, doulaing, which is an actual word, is the way to go. We should really start to go back to our traditions, and many of us are traditional way, by having a doula, like that trusted friend, that person that can guide you through the process and be there for you and advocate for you. We definitely need that to be able to eradicate this terrible situation. We can't just sit down and allow these things to be. We've got to get up and take action and apply solution.
Yeah, can I say something, Aisha?
Yes, please.
Whilst we as doulas are, we're pretty good, we're pretty fantastic, and we've got a lovely bunch of Black doulas here in Birmingham, the Midlands, the East and the West Midlands. We're growing in numbers. So we are part of the solution for sure, but we're not the whole solution. We need to kind of get this whole system that's so unfair, that discriminates against Black people. It needs to be dismantled.
That's right.
And that's the true way to get these stats down. Okay, so we are part of the solution for sure. We provide the support, we can provide advocacy and knowledge and information, but we did not build this system, and it's a system that is not fit for purpose, in my opinion.
I like that opinion, and I agree wholeheartedly with that opinion. We need to do for ourselves, to make sure that we are well catered for. But at the same time, you know, as I said, we individually, you know, if I'm a mom and I find myself expectant of a child, I've got to educate myself. You know, I've got to find out all that I can. That's what I can do as an individual, you know, and as a community, when it comes to highlighting people that do what you do, and more people may be choosing to go into doulaing, you know, as a business, as a career, you know, these are ways that we can apply ourselves to being a part of the solution. So I take my hat off to you. Okay. Excellent. So we've got a question, which is, have you, let me put it up. Have you seen any effects of women who got vaccinated for COVID during birthing children and after? I think, you know, have you seen any ill effects from people being vaccinated who are pregnant?
Actually, I haven't, because none of my clients have been vaccinated in pregnancy. So no, I can say actually, not yet. I guess that might come, but for now, no, I haven't. No.
Excellent. Let's push on. Okay, good. Now, tell me about this wonderful Black Mama Birth Village that you have created. You know, tell us more about it, including what led you to create it.
Yeah, so what led me to create it was, as I said, you know, most of my birth and postnatal clients have been Black families and brown families, but I wanted to kind of do more. So I know that not everybody can afford a doula. We are, you know, we're certainly worth the money, but not everyone's got the funds to pay for a doula. And so I wanted to kind of reach out to more Black moms in particular. So over the last, goodness knows how many months, it feels like forever, but it's not forever. I've been kind of working on developing a group that is just for Black moms, African and Caribbean heritage moms, because I want to be able to kind of give them some doulaing, but in a different way. So I'm not their doula. I'm not going to their birth. This is actually women all over the UK, not just Birmingham based. But I wanted to create a kind of supportive community where together we can talk and talk openly, because there's lots of birth groups, like on Facebook in particular. But if you go in them, they're mainly kind of white women. And, you know, the members of my group have said, you know, I don't feel comfortable talking about certain things in those groups, you know, out of fear of being judged and not understood. So in this group, you can talk without having to explain yourself and without fear of judgment. And I also drop in some birth and postnatal information so that people are informed. And for those, what will happen in the next kind of month or so, I'll be offering some one-to-one support, some extra support for those who need and want it. But for now, it's a lovely community. I go live in there every Sunday and we just chill out. You know, it's a village. It's a village vibe where we just sit and chill out and chat. And it's not heavy. It's not overwhelming. There's a lot on the internet right now. It's really overwhelming about birth. It's not overwhelming at all. It's just it's informative but informal, and it's just nice.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you look in the comments, you'll see the link to join the Black Mama Birth Village. And obviously it's for those who qualify. You have to answer some questions before you can get in, okay? So answer the questions.
Please,
and go.
I'm not asking for your shoe size and your bank details. Honestly, it's just some 3 simple questions, but the amount of people that just don't or won't answer them. I need to know that you're Black and you're pregnant. Okay, and I'll ask you for your email address. That's it. Just answer those, yeah, and then we'll let you in. All right.
Exactly. Excellent. And then you'll be good to go. So yeah, that's really awesome that you've created that. We need these safe spaces where we can come together and, you know, discuss and support and ultimately to build, because when great minds come together, you know, who knows what may happen? Great and awesome things. We know this. And it's a treasure. It really is a treasure to have these spaces. It's life-saving work, especially under these kind of, circumstances with the pandemic, as you described, some of the things that women who are expecting go through, it's a lifeline, so well done to you for creating that. Yeah.
Oh, I feel honoured. I feel honoured when, being chosen as a doula. It's a very, very, it's a place of honour at somebody's birth, and it's wonderful. And I feel honoured that these women have joined me and are kind of, joining in the conversations in the group and contributing so beautifully. And I feel really blessed, And one thing to say is that as of August, I'm no longer going to birth, so I'm retiring. And
wow.
I'm focusing on the group and developing the group offerings. So as from, I think my last client is due in August, and that's it. I'm done.
Oh, wow. Oh, but anyway, I mean, you've got an extensive portfolio of persons that you've helped, and we get to that point whereby we have to, progress onto other things and other areas and deepen our interest and, grow. So that's really great to know. Now, we have somebody who's going to be joining us, Jem, who's a part of the group, the Black Mama Birth Village, and she's here to tell us more about it. Let's see. Jamila.
Hello.
Welcome, my lovely. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Hi, Lorna.
Hi, Jem.
Oh, it's great that you're here. So tell us about your experience of the group.
Right. So I initially found Lorna on Instagram, and she had advertised that she's going to be doing a Black Mamas group. And I signed up straight away. I was pregnant with my 5th child.
Wow.
And I decided that I wanted to just meet other people and kind of not feel so, I think with my first few pregnancies, I kind of felt a bit alone with people in terms of people being in the same situation as I was at the time. So I just wanted to kind of gain some knowledge that I didn't gain, and I did exactly that. Lorna's group, the Black Mamas group, it's been amazing. Like, I've learned so much from the group, things that I didn't know and things I wish that I knew from my previous 4 pregnancies. There's things that I didn't know at all, and I know them now, and I feel like, well, better late than never, I suppose. But it's like, it's been like I've been welcomed into another family. It's been absolutely amazing.
Wow, I am so happy to hear that. As I said, a lifeline, a community, like-minded people that can identify with one another. I just think it's really beautiful. Well done to you, Jamila, and well done to you, Lorna, for the great work that you're doing. Thank you for coming on and sharing that with us. And once again, the link is in the comments if you would like to join the group. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. This is filling my heart. It really is. I love this kind of thing.
Jen, a bit tearful.
Oh my God, it's great to get feedback, it really is. It's good to get feedback, so just bask in the glory of it and enjoy. Thank you so much.
Jen and the other women is that they're so supportive of each other, and the way they contribute to the group and the way they turn up on the Sundays for our little chats, Jem?
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
The thing about it is that we all are learning together, and some of us, I know a lot of us are going in there that have been mothers before, like myself, but a lot of us didn't know about our rights, and that was the biggest thing for us. We didn't know our rights. We kind of go into the hospital, when I had my first child at 18 years old, and your body's not your own. Do you know what I mean? They kind of tell you what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, and you kind of stand back and allow them to almost kind of take over. Where once being in the group, once I kind of joined the group, it was me taking control of my body, my baby, my pregnancy, and telling them, no, you will not be giving me an internal examination. No, you will not be doing this. No, you will not be doing that. And doing it and knowing that they can't say anything,
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's the knowledge that it's definitely the knowledge. And I would, you know, young, old, anybody that's pregnant, I would definitely recommend you join.
Mhm.
I won't be leaving for now, Lorna, even though I might be pregnant again.
No, you're one of mine. You're not going anywhere. Mm-mm.
Oh, wow. That is just such an awesome testimony and recommendation.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Oh, this is so wonderful. This is so wonderful. And Brother Michael said, I'm in the beginning of my third trimester. Is it too late for me to hire a doula? Okay.
You, Michael? Well, so no, it's not too late. It's never too late. I do recommend, though, that if you are pregnant and you are thinking about your forward planning, basically, hire your doula from as early as possible, because you know what? It's the relationship that you have with your doula that is the magic. Okay, it's not just that they turn up on the day. Like, you know, people have asked me in the past, oh, you know, would you kind of cut your fee in half if you just turn up on the day? You might as well have the postman there on the day, or the person who delivers your milk. It's about having the relationship over time, that you can confide in the person, you can trust the person. So it's not too late in the third trimester, but definitely, if you can, hire your doula as early, because you know what? The good ones get snapped up really quickly.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I loved how you flipped that. But that's some really good information. You know, that's some really great information. So you can stay with us if you'd like, Jamila.
Please.
Okay, so who's your biggest inspiration?
Oh my goodness, I have so many really, but you know, I've got to say my mom. My mom, you know, she passed, you know, back in the 80s, in 89 actually, and she was such a hard-working woman, a caring woman. She was a nurse. I couldn't be a nurse, by the way. I'm just a bit too squeamish. But yeah, hard-working nurse who came through all the adversity back in the 60s, you know, doing her nursing and doing her training, and being treated not so well on the wards by her colleagues and by the patients, but she still pushed through and she still came through and she still cared. So actually, I would say the biggest inspiration definitely was my mom, because she was a great mom. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. So, do you have any closing words to share with our listening audience? Either of you.
I would just say, I mean, actually, you just reminded me, Jem. Yeah, know your birthrights. Yeah. Two really good sites. You'll find them on Facebook. There's one called Birthrights. They're actually currently doing some research, an inquiry into Black women's and Black families' outcomes, birth outcomes, and also AIMS. If you just put in the search on Facebook, AYMS, should come up with it. Really, really have a look at those sites. You can also contact them as well, and find out what your rights are in birth, because again, people don't realize that you can decline certain interventions like examinations, like being put on monitors. You can decline them if you want to. There's no police, you know, intervention police is going to say you've got to have it and going to come and drag you out of your house. You can say no if you don't want it, and you're within your rights to say no if you don't want it. So learn about your birthrights. Come and join the village. There's no pressure. You haven't got to do anything. You can just sit back. There's lots of lurkers in the group who I haven't even spoken to yet, right? But they're getting something from it because they're still there. So come and join the birth village. Come and join the conversation, and make sure you have a supportive team around, whoever that is. A supportive team. If your caregivers aren't being supportive, or if you feel that your caregivers are discriminating against you, sack off the caregiver and go somewhere else. You know, you can change your provider, right?
That's excellent. That's excellent to know that. I'm just sharing you a link in the other stream that I have. They're eager for the link, so I think your group's going to be expanding.
Great.
Shortly.
Make sure you're pregnant. Make sure you're pregnant, please. I don't want anyone just coming in to have a nose. I've had people kind of texting me saying, "Can I have a nose?" No, you cannot. I am like a
Right.
pit bull at the door. I'm not letting you in for a nose. So make sure that you are black and pregnant.
Exactly. That's right. You heard what the criteria is. So, you know, stick to it and get in there and enjoy all that there is to enjoy. Okay. Do you offer any services for mums with toddlers, or could you recommend any services? This is coming from another page, these
Yeah,
questions. Yeah.
so I don't put, as a doula, I don't. So generally, so as a postnatal doula, I generally stop at around about the 4 or 5 months mark. If I'm supporting a family, they want support up until then, I stop at then, and suggest other things like groups, or or a nanny, or even something like that. So I don't myself. It depends what they're after. I mean, are they after someone to come and help with the toddler, or what they after?
Not sure. Salt of the earth, if you can put your comment in to answer that, if you're still with us, then we know, but we can also come back to you in the comments later to continue the conversation on that one. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it really is important for us to know our rights. I'm really happy how that came up, because, this is where a lot of things can go wrong, when you don't know
Yeah.
your rights and you feel that you have to go along with something, even if inside your own self you're thinking, I don't like this, but you don't know your rights, so you're disempowered. So it's good that you're there with the information, so that our mothers can be empowered and forthright in their decisions. So thank you. Well, it looks as though we've come to the end of this episode of COVID Conquerors, but I really thank you for coming on, Sister Lorna, and I thank you, Jamila, as well, for you coming on. It's been really wonderful sharing time and space with you all, and also for the audience. It has really been great, the way that you have, put your comments in and asked your questions, and you showing up every fortnight. Really, really appreciate it. So remember, the podcast is not dead from when it ends, okay? It still lives, so continue to share. This is relevant information. It is today, and it will be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So let's continue to share. Now, as for myself, you can also catch me on the Thursdays that I'm not here doing the Aisha Muhammad podcast on another show, and that is called the Black Love Thursday. Okay, Black Love Thursday, brain like a sieve, Black Love Thursdays, and I'm a co-host on that with brother Michael 35X Neil. That's also here on the podcast with some very canny questions every fortnight. So you can catch us there, where we interview people as well on various subjects to do with self-love and life. We had a really good one based on fatherhood, because that was just coming up to Father's Day, and we have part 2 on the 1st of July, which I believe is next Thursday, and that is 12 a.m. So technically it's on a Friday for us in the UK, but in the United States Central Time it is 6 p.m. and I'm inviting you, those of you who are up, to come along, or to join the Black Love family page, whereby you can see everything that's going on in there, and also catch the replay. So thank you once again. Also, some more information in regards to coaching is some of my services. You can book a free discovery call with myself on my website, and that is bestyouinmotion.com. That's for the coaching services, so we can have a chat, see if we can work together. I'm really interested in working with women who are in a marriage. They may have children, and due to everyone that they serve, they've actually kind of lost their way. They've lost touch with themselves. They've self-neglected. They look in the mirror and they're wondering, who am I? And they have goals and they have aspirations, and they need help. Okay, so if that sounds like you, holler at me via my website. So once again, Lorna, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Jamila. I wish you all the best with your group and all of the things that you are doing to uplift the community. Thank you so much. Let me see, just read out some of You're welcome. Okay, and there's also something else. Every Saturday we have the mix and mingle on inside the Black Love Family page. It's actually a Facebook group whereby we talk about so many different topics. It's just a group of people who believe in love and who believe in having, you know, real authentic bonds with one another. It could be business, it could be friendship, it could be love that you're looking for. But in this group, we all vibe, it's righteous, we have a good time, and we really expand our mind from hearing our viewpoints on the different topics that we speak about. So that is on Saturdays at 7:30 CST, which is 1:30 a.m. the following day if you are in the UK. But, you know, many of us are up at night and, you know, looking for people to engage with, things to learn, etc. So come along to the Mix and Mingle every Saturday. So thank you, and I will now say good night.
Good night.
Bye.
I must have set up at least 15 plus food banks.
We need good examples of marriage.
Oh, wow. I am resilient, I am strong, and I am capable.
Sit down and wait for this thing to pass over. We're going to operate. You know what they say, learn to dance in the storm.